And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The Moose.
You might not be an A, but you are a B plus.
Check it out! Here we go! You wanna mess with us? 'Cause we're steady on the ground.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to another B Plus podcast. I am your host, Big Boy Mikey, and it's a Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for another episode of This Week in NXT. I am back on NXT podcast. I've been, I think, missing for 2 weeks on NXT podcast, but I'm glad to be back. But I am riding solo. Greg has come down with a bit of a man flu, so he's not feeling too hot. So I'm running this solo. I was going to be joined by Danders, but unfortunately she is unable to make it. So yeah, you get me solo, 2 solo casts from me this week, which is all sorts of fun. But yeah, look, let's just jump straight into it. Let's jump straight into the happenings of NXT UK. I'm going to quickly also touch on, I don't know if I'm allowed to be touching on this. I've got to ask Greg beforehand. But the Worlds Collides, WWE Worlds Collide has been on the network the last couple of weeks, and there's been some really fantastic stuff. Today's they had the women's version, so it's women from NXT UK, and SmackDown. This is all recorded at WrestleMania Access. They do cool things with WrestleMania Access every year for the last few years, whether it's like a little tournament or something like this. But this year, yeah, they did a couple of these Worlds Collides. I think week 1 was a Cruiserweight one. Week 1 was NXT alumni versus current NXT. Last week was the Cruiserweight one. So sort of like 205 guys across NXT UK and 205. But this week is, women's wrestling from across main roster, NXT UK and NXT. So, yeah, some really fun matches. You got Candice LeRae getting a win over Kaylee Ray. That was a really fun match. I really really suggest you guys go watch that. It was really fun. It was a short match, but it was, it was good for what it was. You got Piper Niven defeating Zelina Vega 1-on-1, which is a very interesting contrast to styles. A women's wrestling match I didn't think I'd see this quick, But yeah, then we had Sonya Deville. She defeated Io Shirai. That was also another fantastic match. And then you had the NXT UK Women's Champion Toni Storm. She defeated both Nikki Cross, as she was representing SmackDown, and Bianca Belair, representing NXT Regular in a triple threat match. She put the title on the line, but she retained, of course. A really fun match. It's a really cool concept that they did this year with the Worlds Collide. This Worlds Collide shows us some really interesting matchups you didn't think you would see. I hope they do that next year. Or this Worlds Collide stuff, they did some stuff back near the Royal Rumble a couple of months ago. I find it to be very interesting, and I hope they continue to do this stuff because NXT and NXT UK are building such strong brands that you're scared to see some of these guys leave NXT and NXT UK and go to the main roster. But this way, you get to see interesting matchups that you haven't seen. So, so look, definitely jump onto the WWE Network and try to catch that. But let's dive into NXT UK next. What's the right word I want to use? It was a good show, a really good main event match. But there's something about NXT UK being in America. This is, I think, the last week from the tapings at Access. NXT UK for mine is just one of those brands that just needs that UK feel. Like, I'm a big European football fan, and those soccer those UK and the European chants that they do when it comes to their sport or, even pro wrestling, there's a vibe there. And I think when you take NXT UK, well, I don't care if it's in Blackpool, whether it's in Edinburgh, whatever, Glasgow, Newcastle, whatever, you take NXT UK out of UK, you just lose a little bit of that soul. Like I get that they were there for WrestleMania weekend and you had to work with what you had. I don't know, just sometimes you feel there's a product meant for a certain crowd, a certain audience, like NXT proper. When it's not in Full Sail, there's a weird vibe, and I'm not a big fan of it. So, I mean, the NXT takeovers are obviously in bigger arenas, and because they're such good matches, you don't worry about it. But NXT TV just works at Full Sail, and the same with NXT UK. So, I just felt the energy was off in this show for me. But let's just run down some of the interesting parts. So we started off with Cassius Ono taking on Ligero in the opening match. Cassius Ono picked up the victory here, so doing the rolling elbow to the back of the head, trying to take his mask off at the same time. Ono is doing some great things as a heel. I like it. Ligero, whether it's in the UK or US, is over. Again, just with that audience, there wasn't enough energy in this match to really elevate it, but it was good for what it was. You got a little backstage thing with Jordan Devlin saying he's pissed off that his match with Walter is a non-title match, and he understands that they want to protect Walter for the rematch of the century against Pete Dunne. So I like that. I don't get where there's this rematch coming from. I thought we cut out rematches from more WWE programming, but let's see. I'm excited to see Devlin versus Walter. I think it's going to be a mouth-watering match. We've seen that in OTT and Progress and Rev Pro and all these sort of brands over the years, but see it on an NXT stage will be very interesting. You got a little highlight video for the Hunt. I know they're in action next week. They look cool. They look cool together, both Primate and Wild Boar. I don't think they're going to use their real names in Wild Boar, Mike Hitchman, or Jason Prime, the Primate. But yeah, Primate, Wild Boar, they look good together. Kind of got that heavy machinery / War Raiders, War Machine, or Viking Experience, or whatever the fuck they call these days. They kind of got that vibe. Two burly men with big beards. Love it. Very animalistic. It's good. You also get a little shot of Barthel and Eichner walking through WrestleMania Access. Complained about the privilege that fans have these days, and yeah, they keep repeating that. They keep repeating their mantra. The mat is sacred. Basically, when I was looking into this, it's identical to Ringkampf, a stable that had Walter, Marcel Barthel as Alex Data Jr., Timothy Thatcher and such, in WXW in Germany and across Rev Pro and other brands. Their motto was Die Mater Ich Heilig, which is the mat is sacred. So very interesting. I hope my German wasn't too bad there. Very interesting to see what happens in the future with this, with Barthel and Eichner. I really like these two. I feel they need to be lifted a bit more. There's like 4 or 5 tag teams in NXT UK that are getting a little bit more show, and I hope Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner get a little bit more love because I think they're brilliant. You got a little promo in ring from Tony Storm. It's just talking about how awesome it was to represent NXT UK brand on the most important weekend of the year. Again, I don't think the crowd really was really into this. I think there's just, like I said, the lack of connect between the US and the UK products is very interesting. Just as she was about to leave, Kaylee Ray's music hit as Kaylee Ray has a match against Xia Li, which she won that quite quickly. I think it was like nearly 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes maybe. She won that with her Widow's Peak. I think Kaylee Ray is going to be pushed quite heavily. I don't know how long it's going to take for anyone to take the title from Storm, but I believe I believe women like Haley Ray, Piper Niven, they will be into the title scene, and I feel Tony Storm might drop it later in the year to one of those two girls, but we'll see how that goes. Then we got a spot with Piper Niven, and she's signing autographs at Access. And interviewers asked her about Rhea Ripley. Basically, Piper Niven just calls her a bully, and now she's finally got someone of her own size basically to pick on. So we'll see how that goes. It should be interesting to see Piper Niven versus Rhea Ripley. It'll be good matches there. Then you get another little backstage segment with the grizzled young vets. They're upset that Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams are getting such love. So they, upset backstage. They throw their gear out in the hallway. They call themselves the leaders of the locker room. And they're going to make sure that they get dressed in the hallway. Very interesting to see where that goes. I don't think Grizzly Young Vets are going to drop their titles for a while. I think they're the perfect team to keep them. And I hope that stays that way. However, the tag team scene is brilliant in NXT UK, as shown in the main event match. So the third and final match of the night, we saw Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven defeat the team of Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. It was a really fun match. It was only about a 10-minute match, but really great spots. Two, face teams, two fan favorite teams. Mustache Mountain are probably one of the maybe 5 talents on the NXT roster that you can put in NXT or NXT UK inside an American audience, and it will electrify. Mustache Mountain just gets such great reaction everywhere they go. This was a really fun match with Mustache Mountain picking up the victory with their Burning Hammer flying knee drop combination move there. Really fun stuff. Andrews and Webster they're a really awesome tag team. Like I was saying with the tag team division, so you got Mustache Mountain, so you got Grizzly Young Vet sitting on top, probably Mustache Mountain, Amir Jordan, Kenny Williams, probably second and third at the moment in terms of rankings. You got Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews as a team. You got those, but then you also got Barthel and Eichner, and then you got the Hunt coming along. So some great tag teams building along in NXT UK there, and also Lorcan and Birch from NXT regular could pop up there anytime too. So it's a great tag team. Like I said earlier about Barthel and Eichner, I just hope they don't get lost in that tag team division scene already. And I forgot about Gallus in the Coffee Brothers. So, there's another tag team there. So, some really good tag teams in NXT UK. Just hope Barthel and Eichner don't get lost in the shuffle. I hope, things happen over the next couple of weeks or coming months that really pushes them up north. So, good to see the tag division going really well there. Like I said, a little bit off for me this week with NXT UK. I don't like the NXT UK shows in the US. Give me chanting and singing all night long, please. Thank you. And that takes us now to NXT regular back in Full Sail, which I just love. Like I said, the vibe in Full Sail is always fun. So this week we opened straight up. We got Jackson Riker coming out with Cutler and Wesley Blake, as Riker has a one-on-one with Humberto Carrillo. It was actually a really interesting match to start with. I like the look of Jackson Riker. I think he's got more upside than either Cutler and Blake. They look good as a three-man team, but Riker just looks really good. He's very talented, big man. He's huge. He's really jacked. Looking up against Carrillo, he just made Carrillo look like a little ant. But Carrillo is a high-flying ant and looked good doing it. But this match was unfortunately quickly thrown out due to disqualification, as Jackson Riker just was a little bit too vicious with Carrillo on the outside, dropping him onto the railings and whatnot, and just going a little bit too far there. So the referee called for the bell. This led to all 3 members of Forgotten Sons going up against Carrillo there, beating down. And then, Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan ran out to make the save for Carrillo. So I feel over the next couple of weeks we'll get a 6-man match there. Looks like, the Forgotten Sons and Lorcan and Birch. There's two teams that they're building for the NXT regular tag team division. As we know, War Raiders, Vikings, Viking Experience, whatever the fuck they called, up in the main roster now. They still have the NXT tag titles, so it'll be interesting to see how and when they drop those. I imagine the NXT takeover in May, they will drop those, but we'll see how that goes, because the NXT tag division, outside of them, and maybe outside of Undisputed Era and O'Reilly and Fish, is kind of weak in my opinion right now. Lorcan and Birch are amazing. Forgotten Sons are enjoyable. There's a couple of tag teams we'll talk about soon. So in comparison, I was talking about NXT UK's tag division doing some great things, but NXT regular tag team division is kind of feeling a little bit soft at the moment. So hopefully, something picks up there.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout.
After that match, you get a little bit of a backstage section as Adam Cole was doing a photo shoot, and his sort of is a little bit frustrated about the main event later on. He doesn't understand why Johnny is such a coward and hasn't gone to Adam Cole. Instead, he went to Roderick Strong. Matt Riddle interrupted him and just smirked off and claimed that Cole was jealous of Roderick Strong. Cole got the shits. He said he had better things to do and just stormed off. Teasing a little bit of dissension there. Roderick Strong was the first one to sort of deflect into Undisputed Era. They were against each other for so long, and then he turned and joined them. Is it time for Roderick Strong to take the lead in Undisputed Era? Maybe let Adam Cole go to the main roster or something like that. Will be interesting to see. But more on that later. Candice LeRae and Casey Catanzaro taking on the team of Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah. Really good match. I think it was only probably about just under 10-minute match, not even. Really good to see Candice LeRae getting more in-ring time. We almost went a full match without a member of the commentary team talking about Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. Can we just have a Candice LeRae match without discussing Johnny Gargano, please, guys? Candice LeRae is a fantastic talent on her own. She's taken more super kicks from the Young Bucks, more pile drivers from Kevin Owens. She's a fantastic talent on her own. She doesn't need to constantly be reminded as Johnny Gargano's wife. It gets frustrating for me because Candice LeRae should be, she should be a main roster women's champion by now. She's that fucking good. Kacy Catanzaro is coming into her own. She's got the look. She's a really good talker. She's really sweet on the microphone. And I'm guessing she's getting trained very well down in the PC down there. She's got the quick and she's got the power. I mean, she's come from Ninja Warrior, whatever that thing is, American Ninja Warrior. And that shit is not easy. So she's got the determination, and I think she'll make it work. Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah, I'm not really crashing Vanessa Bourne. Aaliyah, for some reason, someone on the commentary called her veteran, veteran experience. Aaliyah, she's been in the company for 3 or 4 years, and she's, I just don't really see it with Aaliyah. She's got some decent mat work. There's a couple of submissions that she pulled off in this match, and I was like, oh, actually, fantastic. But I think she's just missing something that, girls like Candice and Casey do have. So that was great. Post-match, so Candice LeRae and Casey got the win there from a beautiful lion salt from Candice LeRae. Just looked perfect. And then after that match, Kathy Kelly was interviewing Io Shirai about the Shayna Baszler stuff. Shirai was saying how disappointed she was because of what they did to Kairi Sane at the end of last week's episode. She's saying that was terrible, and just as she's about to finish that interview, Duke and Jasmine Duke and Marina Shafir jumped Shirai from behind for a quick beatdown. So, then we got a little vignette teasing the arrival of Kushida, and then straight after that, you got Regal in his office talking about Kushida and his upcoming debut. Cassius Ohno walks in, says he wants to face Kushida in his debut match. So it's confirmed later in the show. Kind of at that moment, Regal's, that's actually a really good match. So debut, Kushida's debut has been confirmed next week against Cassius Ohno, which would be fantastic. Cassius Ohno doing both NXT and NXT UK this week. The magic of television is amazing. This was a really good spot. I can't wait to see Kushida in NXT. For a lot of NXT listeners, NXT fans, if you're not familiar with Kushida, please get familiar with him. He is... unfortunately, we know Japanese talent doesn't get treated, all that well in the WWE. At NXT level, yes, they did. Unfortunately, Hideo Itami, aka Kenta, just succumbed to too many injuries. That's nothing on his talent. He's one of the best pro wrestlers of all time. I'm not joking when I say that. Hideo Itami / Kenta is one of the... I'd put him in my top 50 of all time. I'm talking that's how good he is. Kushida is probably up there with Kenta and Hideo. Unfortunately, I wouldn't put Shinsuke in that category. And Nakamura went on to great things. Kushida is a lot smaller. He is these days, doesn't matter how small you are, you should be able to make the main roster. And 2006 Rey Mysterio won the WWE title. Anything can happen these days. You got Ricochet on the main roster. Someone like a Kushida is that big of a deal in Japan. He is a junior legend. There's not many names outside of Kushida that has that much respect in Japan. I really hope that he gets his gets his dues here in WWE. I don't know if he's here for a payday before he, officially retires out of his career, but I really hope Kushida gets a really good run. I want him to be NXT champion within a year, within 6 months. I hope he's a cruiserweight champion within 12 months on 205. If he's not on next year's Mania card, this is how quick I'm calling it. It's 25th of April as I'm recording this, and I promise you that next WrestleMania, Kushida will be on that card. He's that good. yes, just excited to see Kushida on the NXT circuit for a while here anyway. After that segment about Kushida, we got NXT Tag Team Champions, War Raiders taking on the Street Profits. So technically, War Raiders were built as War Raiders, not Viking Raiders, as they now known on Raw. Yeah, it was a great match. Look, I'm not a big fan of Street Profits. I'm not a big fan of their gimmick. Well, no, sorry, the gimmick is fine. I'm not a big fan of Dawkins. I think there's a lot of upside to Montez Ford. I believe he's got a bigger upside. I hope he breaks out of that tag team as a future star. He could be someone in 205 that would be really entertaining. I just don't get it with Dawkins. Yeah, he's just, I don't know. There's something missing with me with him. On the flip side, War Raiders are just so fucking cool. Every time I watch them, especially Hanson, the way that big man moves in that ring is ridiculous. Man of his size shouldn't be bouncing off ropes like that. Like, I don't know what type of training that guy does, but holy shit. Look, at the start, the Street Profits came out. They actually looked like they were going to win this straight out of the gates, which is really cool to see. But War Raiders being one of the best tag teams in the world, in any brand, they come back and they end up hitting Thor's hammer for the win. Then backstage again, we got a little backstage segment with me and Yim talking about Shayna Baszler. She also called out Belair for now having 2 losses. So, this whole undefeated thing. Yes, it's a mindset, Greg. I understand that. But yeah, no, she's lost the second match, so she's not undefeated. So it looks like me and Yim's going to have the next shot at Shayna Baszler, which would be interesting. Maybe Shirai. So we'll see how that goes. I think Shayna's going to keep this all the way through to NXT Brooklyn 5, I think it would be by then. So I think Shayna keeps it for a little bit longer. Just gets a few more names as defenses. Then straight after that, we got the main event match, which was NXT champion Johnny Gargano taking on Roderick Strong. A match that we have seen thousands of times on, I think, Evolve cards, Dragon Gate USA cards, PWG, Full Impact Pro, all these sort of brands that Johnny Gargano and Roderick Strong have competed in over their last 10, 15 years of their career. I love this match. Fantastic match. Obviously not a 6-star spectacle that Gargano and Cole put on it, TakeOver New York, but this is fantastic. I don't know, this is the first one-on-one between Gargano and Roderick Strong on the NXT proper, just as a one-on-one, because they're always involved in tag things and that, but this is a really fun match. Just a lot of great spots here. These guys know each other so well, back and front. It was all going well, and towards the end, Adam Cole came out to distract Johnny as he had him in a Boston Crab. So that also brought out Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. And then that brought up Matt Riddle. So Matt Riddle came out and sort of helped Gargano there. He fought off Fish and O'Reilly. But as a brawl ensued at ringside and all the distractions, Cole accidentally accidentally kicked Roderick Strong as he thought it was Johnny Gargano tapping his back or tapping into him. And accidentally kicked Roderick Strong. Gargano then quickly hit the slingshot DDT, got the pinfall victory. So they're really going at this Undisputed Era cracks within the Undisputed Era as the plot thickens there. I don't know where they go with this. Do they just make it look like they're falling apart, but then they come back 10 times stronger? Undisputed Era, probably the most marketable product in the NXT universe, but they don't have any championships at the moment. So where do they go from here? Do Undisputed Era, still hang in NXT for like another 6 months, 12 months? Does O'Reilly, Fish, and Roderick Strong take the reins from Adam Cole and send Adam Cole to the main roster because, technically Adam Cole is ready for the main roster, but let's just, we know that it's just going to take a little bit longer for him to get there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the plot thickens with this one. Really fantastic NXT show. Some really, really fun stuff on NXT UK. That Worlds Collide stuff. Definitely check it out. That's, all three of the shows sort of came out today, so get onto those. I'm going to stick a fork in this one as I am done. Look, if you want to discuss anything else NXT with me, any NXT stuff going forward, I'm a guy that reads spoilers for NXT, not Endgame. If you spoil Endgame for anybody, you're fucked. Well, I read NXT spoilers, so I kind of know what's going on in the future. So if you want to talk to me in private about any of that stuff, you can talk to me at B+_bigboy. And collectively, we are B+ Wrestling on both Facebook and Instagram. We're the B+ Wrestle on Twitter. Wrestling with a Fit. Give us a like, share, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review if you like what we do. Thank you so much for listening.